question and answers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Herbert. As you said, I'm by name of Fred Kagame. So I was supposed to be with Nivis Emmanuel, but he's not around due to other duties. So it's not easy to speak, to be a first speaker afternoon, because while eating, it was like food moving upwards instead of downwards. So, but I'm very honored to be here again. I have a bachelor's degree in forensic science, and I'm a crimes investigator. I also have master's degree candidate in rigorous, specifically international criminal law. So it's an honor for me to be here because even international criminal law originated from German, Nuremberg Tribunal, and then later to Rwanda, International Criminal Court for Rwanda. So here we have people from those parts of the world. So, but now I'm not going to discuss with you about legal laws and articles, but about forensic science. Specifically about forensic identification of unknown dead bodies, field practice. So we are going to see introduction, aim of presentation, identification techniques, and some techniques that we do use here in Rwanda while identifying unknown dead bodies. We are going also to see a case and some challenges and some alternatives, and then to conclusion. So we are going to be together. In short, I will not go in detail, but I will give you time for asking questions. So in our daily life as investigators and some police officers who used to have the same things of crimes investigation and dead bodies identification, we face with this challenge of whereby people go at the scene or in some places and get or meet with the challenge of someone who died without any document, either passport, national ID, or any other document which you may use to identify him or her. And through those challenges of facing those kinds, there are some techniques and methods developed or used, adopted by forensic scientists, especially crime investigators and other forensic investigators in general. So the aim of the presentation is to give you or share with you those techniques and then see some experiences in the domain, and we will see some challenges as well and recommendation. So some of the identification techniques, more as technology appears and as we develop in terms of technology, in terms of science, there are some techniques developed, such as DNA. When you don't have identity of a person, maybe document or any other official document, you may use DNA as a mode of, as a technique of identifying the individual. You may also estimate the age of someone, physical appearance. You can determine the age of an individual. So you can also see gender, can guide you in identification. You can also use skin color, whether black or white or any other. There are also anthropometry. There is dental examination, the teeth. There is DNA identification. I have talked about this. But I'm going to go specifically on fingerprint identification technique as a new technique which appears, and we are applying it here in Rwanda, whereby we have a fingerprint kit. It's here. This is a kit. This is one bag composed of all those other things. So we use it at the field or even the forensic laboratory for identifying individuals who are not known. So while identifying individuals, we have procedures. This is an application we use. So you can know whether we do check by using 4 different, it has 4 different tab. You may choose whether it's a Rwandan or a foreigner or a refugee or a migrant. So you can, here is left thumb and right thumb. So by using those 2 and then facial recognition, we can identify whether this person is a Rwandan or a foreigner. Then we have that challenge of, as I've mentioned, there are some challenges such as not having a database. We don't have DNA database. We don't have a forensic fingerprint database. But we go to National Identification Agency. They have all fingerprints of all people, the migrants. But they have in their database, they don't have under 18 years. And even some illegal migrants, they don't have them. So that is also another challenge. This is a case whereby 180-meter young man was found without any other official document. Unfortunately, we at the first place at the scene of crime, he was in a small room, and at the first time we thought that he's a white or someone from Arab, because he used some medicines which destroy the melanin skin color. So he was looking like white, and we after not having ID or any other document, we tried to call neighbors to see whether someone can know him, but no one. He was about 23 years. And after taking or using this fingerprint technique, we knew him. He was a Rwandan, and he was in nearby village. But because after doing autopsy and further examination, they have seen that he was dead due to drug overdose. But no one who would know that if we couldn't have this technique of fingerprint taking machine. So we go at the field or even at lab, and we do take fingerprints of a known dead body, and then we go for DNA for NIDA to identify or to recognize individual. So we have some challenges, as I have mentioned. We have one is there are some cases where we go at the field and we get some people who are already decomposed. The skin is no longer there. The skin of fingerprint ledges, the froze. So that used to be a challenge, and we sometimes young people, children, we don't have database. Depending on the case, fingerprints may be there, but he has no ID. He has nothing which you may use to identify him. So that is a challenge. But some alternatives, as I've mentioned, they are there, like DNA. You can use DNA to identify that individual. So you can ask yourself why do we need to know individual? As I have mentioned, forensic science, there might be some people here who don't know what forensic is. It's the application of scientific techniques in administration of justice. So you cannot provide justice of unknown. You need to first identify the individual, then later you come to know him. So as conclusion, investigating the cause, the manner, and even mechanism of death is paramount important. Identifying dead body, paramount for identifying dead body so that relative may get moral emotion, moral affections, and effective justice. So there is it's very important for the family and even for the justice to identify the individual. Thank you so much. As a recommendation, it is necessary and it is important to enhance and put more effort in improving this identification of a known dead body, either in region or particularly in Rwanda. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the good presentation and very concise and time. If there are any questions, I'll take one or two clarifications. Yes?
Thank you, Kagame, for a nice presentation. I would like to know whether using this fingerprint taking machine, are there some cases of false acceptance or a false matching? Did you face such cases just while trying to identify some of the dead bodies? And another thing is regarding to the recommendation. As you did most of your researches and studies regarding these dead bodies identifications, do you think is it necessary to establish, because in some cases for decomposing dead bodies, we see that they are, in some cases they are decomposing and you can't find the fingerprints. Do you think is it necessary to establish a kind of national biometric center whereby you can be having all the biometric data? Thank you.
Thank you so much for nice questions. I can start with the second. You said, is it necessary? Of course, it's necessary. Sorry, I did not mention it, maybe, but there is a need of having that center of biometrics, as well as establishing fingerprint and DNA database, data bank, because we don't have them already here, but other countries, they do have it. So your first question is, first matching. So it can happen, but not, it may happen, but not, we have never met with, but we rather we have a challenge of missing some people in database while they are not unknown. But first matching is not usual, because as all of us we know, fingerprint is unique to each and every person at the universe. You cannot, even if it can be your twin, you cannot share the same fingerprint. So it might happen if decomposed, you get small part, but if it doesn't match, you ignore. You may get small part sharing to another one, but if someone is living somewhere and you're getting the fingerprints, already you have a cadaver, you have a dead person. So if it's matching to someone who is living somewhere, it means you're missing something in information. Better you ignore. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. I hope that's clear. Now, without further delay, I would like to call upon the next presenter, John Karimera, who will be presenting about the role of microbiology in forensic sciences.